Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, CHULLIN Daf Tzadik Gimel. We are holding 4 lines from the top of the Amud. Gufa. This connects back to yesterday. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Chelav shabasar chayfa oisei mutter. So towards the back of the animal, you have the blob of fat, which is on towards the back, the top of the flanks, which is asr. But the part that sort of penetrates into the layers of flesh below, that's okay. That's not part of the forbidden fat, which is asr. Says the Gemara, is that true? Eini, is that true? V'amar be'abba. Amar Rabbi Shmuel. Again, he quotes Shmuel. Hai tarba, this section of fat, the tusei masni, which is beneath the hip area, is asr. Apparently, it's not okay. And here you're telling me it's okay. Amar Abaye, yeah, this is the tusei masni is a bit higher than the chelev referred to a minute ago. In the first case, we're speaking about the chelev that's actually inside the layers of meat. The tarba, the tusei masni, is sort of above that, sitting above that area. But the Gemara is assuming it's also covered by the hip, so if it's embedded inside, that's not exposed, visible, and that's not considered the chelev which is asr. Amar Abaye, although it appears to be covered and embedded, it's not really so. Amar Abaye, behema b'chaya, behema during its lifetime, pruki mefarka, when it moves around, its limbs sort of shift, right, as it's walking, and truthfully, at that point, the section that we're talking here, the section of fat sitting on top there is really visible. It's open, exposed. I mean, not exposed to all. It's covered by skin, but it means to say it's not covered by flesh. And that, in fact, is a chelev which is forbidden. Rabbi Yochanan, likewise, Rabbi Yochanan concurs. He says, look, I'm not a butcher by trade, nor by familial, yichus. I'm not a butcher, nor a son of a butcher, but I could tell you what they used to say in the Beis HaMedrash on this topic. But here now, recall, as follows was explained in the Beis HaMedrash regarding this very portion of fat. The reason why it's asr is because behema b'chaya, behema during its lifetime, perukim afarka, shifts around. And in fact, this glob of chelev is open and exposed. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Shmuel, chelev shalahemsis beis hakosis, the chelev which is situated over and around the hemsis and beis hakosis, which are sections of the intestinal system, sections of the stomach, asur, and they're asur. V'onush kares, and if one eats it, he's liable to kares. V'zeu chelev shalakerev. This is exactly what the pasuk is referring to, chelev shalakerev. V'amar, Rabab, Amar Rab, Yehuda Shmuel, Hai tarba de klibusta. Here's another section of fat in the back of the animal, on the tailbone there. Also, once again, that's forbidden. V'onush kares, there's kares upon eating it. V'zeu, and this is exactly what the pasuk refers to as chelev shalaksalah. Okay, now we shift to another matter, which is isru of dam. One may not consume blood. Typically, you extracted by salting, right? But if we have these arteries, these veins, which contain blood, so be careful not to encounter that blood. Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Shmuel, chutin. So we have these little veins, blood veins, shebiyad. They're situated in the front arm of the animal, in the shoulder area, asur, and they're asur. Now the Gemara figured that we're still on the chelev topic. Amar of Safra, so Safra referred to him, he says, Moshe, called him Moshe. Because that's the way you refer to a Talmud Chacham, Moshe. Every Talmud Chacham is a little mini, has a little bit of Moshe in him, Moshe Rabbeinu in him. Mi Amar Achmanu Le'teichel Bisra? What's wrong with eating these veins? Does the Torah forbid eating flesh? Hamar Rabbah, so Rabbah responded to him with the same endearing term, Moshe. Let me explain to him. Mi Amar Rachmana Echol Dama. Does the Torah instruct us to eat blood? Meaning, you're right, it's not an issue of chelev, it's an issue of blood. So if you have another way to sort of extract the blood from within these veins, you're okay. For instance, chatche umalche, if you sliced it open, you salted it, that's okay. If you look at there, then you can even throw it into a pot, that's okay, because once it's free of its blood, it's okay. It's a blood issue. Okay, back to Chaylev for a moment. So the beginning, the first section of the intestines as it comes out of the stomach, the first Amma, you have to scrape off the fat from that section, Vizeo, because this is the Chaylev Shaladakin, which is Asra. V'Amar Rav Yehuda. Okay, back to Chaylev again. Chutin Sheba Oikit Asur. You have these fibers, right? These strings of fat, which are embedded in the oikets, the backside of the animal. Those are Asur. Now, how many tributaries do we have there? Actually, the total of 5. Okay, you'll find 5 of these offshoots. Right, in this section. Klosim Yamina. Three to the right of the animal. Retartim is smaller, and 2 on the left side of the animal. Now, Tlasa, Befatzli Trey. We're not done. The 3 actually branch off. Each one turns into 2. Trey, Befatzli Tlasa. Right? So the 3 branch off into 2 apiece. A tray. But the tray, on the other side, you have the 2 branches. They branch off further. Trey Mefatzli branch off Tlasa. Each one turns into 3. What's the point of knowing these numbers? Nafkamina is like this. Difference like this. If you get the animal while it's still warm after the shechita, you can just pull it out, slide it out. Slides out easily. It just slides out as a unit. You don't have to worry about anything left inside. But otherwise, if you wait too long until it gets sort of hardened and embedded in there, you have to go and dig for them. And then you have to make sure you pulled out all these chutim. Amar Abaye, v'itei Rav Yehuda, chamsha chuti havu. There are 5 locations where you'll find these chutim, these tributaries, these veins, these some are issues of chaylev, some because of dam. Chamsha chuti havu. Tlasam shem tarba. There are 3 chutim that contain chaylev, but trei mishem dama 2 present a blood concern, as follows. The tachli, the chutim that you find in the spleen, or the kafli, and the flanken on the back, or the kolyasa in the kidneys, here there's a chaylev concern, mishum tarba. Whereas the yada, the ones that are found in the forearm, in the shoulder area, or the loya, throughout the cheek, the lechi of the animal, mishum dama, there's a blood concern. Mafkamina. What's the difference whether it's a chaylev concern or blood? Either way, it's asur. The answer is like this: Hanid mishum dama. If it's merely a blood concern, you can extract the blood by salting it. If you slice them open and salt them, shabedama, you're good to go. But the other ones, which are chaylev concerns, hanach lesl takan, you can't remedy that. That's a forbidden matter. Amrav Gana, v'itei Samser Rav Yehuda, chamsha karmi havu. Speaking about lists of forbidden matters in the animal, we have 5 membranes that are forbidden. Tlosa Mishum Tarba, 3 on account of chaylev content, Trei Mishum Dama, 2 on account of blood content. And he explains the tachli, the membrane around the spleen, the kafli, membrane found over the flanken, the kolyasa around the kidneys, Mishum Tarba. That's on account of the chaylev content, the bay, the membrane around the testicles, the micro, around the animal's brain, Mishum Dama, that's a blood concern. Rabbi Yehuda bar Oishya, what did he do? Have a kokolafle tachla. So he took a tchol, took a spleen, and peeled off the membrane, but only the top part. On top it's like wide, and then it sort of narrows as it comes down. And he did it for Levi, the Levi Bray, the son of Rav Huna bar Chia. Have a kogoyim le'miloi. So he was just merely peeling off the upper area. So So Levi says to him, here, go down further, take the bottom, slice off the bottom membrane as well. Asavu. So Levi's father suddenly appears, Ashkechei, and he encountered this story. He sees what's going on. Amalei. So he turned to his son. He says, not to worry, don't you don't have to tell him to do more. Hachi Amar, I have a quote from your own grandfather. Avod Imach, the father of your mother, Mishum, the name of Rav, Umani, who was the grandfather, Rav Yirmeh Baba. He says, Le'asra Torah only forbade the material which is on top, Al Shaladav, the wide section of the spleen, but not only there. Says the Gemara, Aini, is that so? Va'amar Rav Amnuna taught, I say Bryce Tana, Krum Shalat Chayil, so the membrane wrapped on the spleen, Asur, is forbidden. There's no kares, there's no liability. She shouldn't eat it, but it's not really Asur min HaTorah. Now, which section of the membrane we're talking about? Ilema Shaladad, we speak on the wide part. Amai Ein Chayim Olav. Why is there no liability? Why is there no kares? That's the Chaylev Shal Gabi HaKerev that Torah, forbade. Because it's connected to the stomach there. Ella the Kule. Rather, the Bryce is speaking about the bottom section of the membrane. Amar lei, so clearly, even though it's mutar min haTorah, but midrabanan, it's close enough to the Isser, we forbade it. Amar lei says, okay. So Rav Huna told his son, got it, okay. Itanya, if he found the Brysa that way, Tanya, fine, I concede. And refrain from the entire membrane. Gufa, let's go back to this. Halacha Amar Rav Huna, he quoted a Brysa Tana. Krum shal hatchol asur ve'chayiv an alav. So this membrane is asur, but there's no liability. There's no Isser min haTorah. The Brisa continues. A krum shal gabi kulya, the membrane which wraps around the kidney, is asur ve'in chayav an alav. Again, it's asur midrabanan, but there's no liability min haTorah. Ask the Gemara, really? Batani, we have a Brisa chayav an alav. He is liable to kares upon eating these membranes. That's a contradiction between one Brisa and the other. Answers the Gemara, depends what we're talking about. You can resolve the apparent contradiction between the two Brises regarding the membrane on the spleen. Ha keneged hadad. Ha shalei keneged hadad. The Brisa which holds him liable min haTorah, that's the part on top, that's the wide part. The other Brisa is speaking on the narrow area on bottom. It's only midrabanan. And likewise, kulya kasha, regarding the contradiction regarding the kidney membrane. Again, habi law. The Brisa which holds him liable min haTorah, which considers it forbidden min haTorah below, is speaking about the membrane which is on top of the kidneys, which contains chaylev min haTorah. Ha betato. But there's another membrane beneath that, and that's only asur midrabanan. Okay, be'i chashilasa. Speaking of forbidden matter, here is another example. We have be'i, the male, beitzim, the testicles of the animal. Shachashilasa, that had been detached. They sterilized the animal, detached the items, and they're still in the sack, but they're detached from the actual body of the animal. Can one consume that or not? Is that considered Eiver min achai? Rav Ami, Rav Asi. There was a machlekes, chad asar, v'chad shari. So after shchita, one said it's okay, shari, and the other one said it's asar. What's the basis for this machlekes? Return to Talmud base. Manda asar, the one that forbade consumption of this matter. Why? Because it had been detached during the animal's lifetime. That's your classic Eiver min achai, midulei kabari. I'll even prove to you that it's been detached. The fact that it doesn't regenerate, Hani, Eiver, min achai ninu. Since it didn't recover, apparently it was detached. It's considered a limb off a live animal. It's asur, Eiver min achai ninu. However, Manda Shari, the one that permits this material, disagrees. Midulei kamasr, on the fact that it doesn't spoil, it doesn't, disintegrate, but still maintains itself in there. Apparently there's still some life, there's still somewhat of an attachment. It's not considered fully severed. The other one responds to that. The reason why it doesn't spoil, it's not exposed to the outside air, it's protected. But otherwise it is really detached from the animal. The other one responds, and proving from the fact that it doesn't regenerate, they're certainly weakened, certainly injured. But technically it's still living off the animal, and it's considered part of the animal. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan, Rav Shama bar Abbas, he told him, Hani beicha shalasa, if you encounter this type of material, sharia, technically you can eat it, because here in Eretz Yisrael they eat it. Va'at leiteichel, but you that come from Bavel, don't eat it. Mishum va'altito yishtor esemecha, don't abandon the customs, the practices of your mother, of your family. If that is the minhag in Bavel, you have to act accordingly. Amar Mar bar Rav Ashi. Here's another related topic. Hani be'ed gadi, these testicles of a young goat. So the goat was shechted. Atlas in yoimin. If it's still within 30 days of birth, sharim lekilipa. You can eat the item without peeling off any membranes. There's no blood there. It's still too young. It's not fully developed to have a blood concern. Past that point, past 30 days, you have to examine to ascertain whether there's blood. Azran, if you notice the zera, semen inside, asura, and then there's blood on the membrane surrounding it. Viloy, but otherwise, if there's no loy azran, they haven't developed the zera, sharian, it's okay for consumption without removing anything. How would you know? How would a unlearned person know where it's holding? There are telltale signs of blood content. If you have these sumki, red, shuraiki streaks around it, asura, the membrane contains blood. Less shuraiki, sumki, if there's no red streaks, sharian, it's okay. Okay, speaking about blood concerns, umtse. So you have a pieces of meat here, which exhibits some sort of blood clottingness. So you have a blood clot in there. Now, typically, blood is not an issue. You just salt it, that extracts the blood. But if there's a blood clot in there, makes it difficult to extract easily. You can't just salt it. In which case, how do you deal with this piece of meat? Umtze, beye, eggs. So we're speaking about the eggs of the zachar, which again exhibited reddish marks. Umizrake. A third issue would relate to the viridim, these arteries, the neck arteries, which have a high blood content. How do you rid them of blood? So these were subject to machlekes. Pligiba, Rav Acha, Ravina. Rav Acha and Ravina have a dispute regarding how to deal with the blood issue on these items. Now, interestingly, b'chala Torah kula, throughout the entire Shas, Ravina is l'kula. Ravina takes a lenient approach. That's his perspective on Torah. It's like almost like Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel always went l'kula. Rav Acha, on the other hand, he was always l'chumra, always strict. And how do we proceed? So the conclusion is always Ravina, l'kula. We take the lenient approach of Ravina, except levar mahani tlas, except for this instance, these three items: the cut of meat with the blood clot, the eggs, and the arteries. Levar mahani tlas, where their opinions switched around. Interestingly, the Rav Acha takes a lenient approach. Ravina, he goes l'chumra. And again, v'ilchasa, in this case, we go l'kula, Rav Acha l'kula. Okay. So what exactly are we talking about? What's the issue at hand? Umtza de aspik, a cut of meat which is exhibiting blood clottingness. So now, the easy way out is chatcha umalcha. He chopped it open, he salted it properly, and that's fine, because he accessed the blood, and it's gone. Afilu kader nami shabridami. That's a proper process even for cooking, throwing it into your pot. Shabridami. On the other end, tali nami b'shvuda. Likewise, if you hung it up on the spit in front of the roaring fire, the fire extracts the blood. Doiv dama. So the blood is extracted and it trickles down. There's no issue there. So what's subject to machlekes? Gumri, he did something sort of in between. On coals. He has it sitting on coals. So you have pretty intense heat, but it's not like a fire. And really the blood sort of gets trapped in it because it's sitting on something, sitting on a surface. So that's the machlekes. Pligibam. And that we have the machlekes between Rav Acha and Ravina. Chadamar, one says it's okay. Mishav shai sheivile. The heat of the coals extract, they suck out whatever blood is in there, even if it's a blood clot. It's intense enough heat that can do that job. Chadamar says just the opposite. The heat has the opposite effect. Mitzma samsile. It hardens it. It gets it stuck in there. It gets it encased. And the same exact issue we have v'chein bei, v'chein mizraki, the other two items. Okay, next halacha, reisha. b'kivsha. Rashi explains that they would take the head of an animal and they would embed it in hot, ashes so that the hair gets singed, and that's how they would clean the head. Problem is, there's blood in the head. Blood is not going anywhere. It's getting sort of entrenched inside the head. It makes it asur. Reisha b'kivsha, the head embedded in ashes. What do you do there? Is there an issue of blood getting absorbed in the meat and making it asur? Well, again, it depends on the angle. Interestingly, it depends how you put it. So if you place the head of the animal on the cut of the Beis HaShchita, so let's say you have the let's say this is the head of the animal, okay? And this is where you cut. This was the Beis HaShchita. So you place it like that, bottom down. Great. Blood just trickles out at the bottom, and you're good to go. Daiv dam. So the blood is daiv, just trickles out, drains out the shari, and the head is okay. Atztad. And on the other hand, if you place it on its side, then the blood just sort of pulls on the sides and just gets stuck and embedded in the flesh. That's a problem. Atztad, the mikvah coffee gets hardened, it gets embedded in the actual flesh. But also, that's a problem. It's also. Let's say, here are the nostrils. Okay, nostrils are really passageways, but they're not clear passageways. So you place it on its nostrils, surrounded by this heat. So then it really depends. If you inserted something into the nostrils to open up the channels to keep it open, shari, that's okay because the blood trickles out. Otherwise, asr. There's another version of this halach. Anachire. Either placed it on the chira on its nostrils down, or on the Beis HaShchita, doiv. The blood would drain out, there's no issue there. Atzdaden. However, if placed it on its side, then it depends. Idatz bei midi. If he punctured the bottom facing side of the head with something, he poked something in there, so that the blood has a way to drain out, then shari, then it's okay because it can drain out even from that hole. Otherwise, it's asr because the blood gets trapped inside and it forbids the material. Okay, now back to Gid Hanash. There are a pair of nerves back there. So there's a set of sciatic nerves. One is asr, one is not. The one that's internal, runs along the bone, that's asr min ha-Torah b'chayev and alav. It's asr and there's liability for that. Whereas chitza and samach habasa, the outer one, which is more on the surface, up on the flesh, asr, it's asr min rabbanon, because it's close to the original. There's no chayev min ha-Torah. Atani, we have a brayso which seems to say the other way around, seems to describe them differently. Pnimi, the interior one, is samach labasa, along the basar. That's the pnimi. And here we say it's along the bone. It sort of takes twists and turns, and sometimes it's along the basar. Iklude miklid, it's like a key in the keyhole. So it sort of takes, curves around. And although generally the inner one runs along the bone, but at a certain point it doesn't count to the basar and goes through that. So that's what the brisa was talking about in the second brisa. About Tanya, you have another kasha from another brisa, which talks about the chitza, the external one, which according to our version ran along the basar, and the brisa here calls it hasamach la'etzem, right near the bone. How does that work? At a certain area where the generally it's running along the basar, but at a certain point it does sort of encounter the bone, where the butchers open the animal, they open it up. That's the at the edge over there. You'll see the external sciatic nerve running along the bone, but in general it's along the basar. Okay, itma. Here comes an interesting question. Let's say, the butcher sold you meat, vouching for its kashrus. He's also menaker, right? He's meant to remove the gid hanasha and any forbidden fats. He's the expert. And suddenly you take it home, you find the problem in there. You find forbidden matter. Does he get penalized for this oversight? Do you consider it negligence? Does he get fired? I mean, what happens? Itmar, tabach, a Jewish butcher. Shenimtza chelev achrav. You find chelev in his product. Rabbi Yehuda Amar b'kisa'ira. If the portion of fat was the size of a barley kernel, that's all. That's enough to hold him accountable. Rabbi Yochanan Amar kazayis, unless it's the size of a kazayis. Amar apapapli plig. There is no machlekes. They're talking about different ramifications. Kan lal koisei, in terms of giving him malchus mardas, Rabbanan will actually lash him. That only happens if you find a large portion the size of a kazayis. That's an expression of true negligence. But kan la'abroi, in terms of deposing him, for that even a small piece is enough to hold him accountable. Amar Masur Trub, because Su'er Makam Echad has different pshat in explaining these two shiurim. He says like this. He says, if it's in one spot, right? If you find a granule of chaylev, even the size of a sa'ira, if it's in one spot, concentrated in one area, that's a significant infraction. Whereas if it's so that's what he talked about. He spoke about a kazayis makam echad, and the other one who spoke about a kazayis. Why is a kazayis required? That's kazayis. I feel bebezu begimel mekaymes. He was talking that you found little granules, little specks of chaylev, but if the total mass of all that equals a kazayis, then he's in real trouble and he loses his job. Okay, so according to this pshat, we're speaking about a question of firing him, and it depends. If it's in one area, even a kasa'ira is bad enough, but if it's dispersed, okay, and each one is a little teeny speck, so then you can't penalize him to this extent unless you find a sum total of a kazayis. So what's the conclusion? Al koisai bekazayis, la'avri bekasa'ira. If you find a kazayis, he gets malchus. If you find merely a sa'ira, then he merely loses his job. Okay, so back to the Mishnah. Can we even trust a butcher? So the Mishnah says that there's a machlokes actually, right? So the Mishnah starts off by saying you can't trust the butcher, because Rashi explains it's a big tircha. It's a big job to go, dig and find all the elements of a giranasha. That's Rameir's shita. Chacham say, yeah, you can trust them. Nemanan olav ala chelev. You can trust them regarding extraction of giranasha and also regarding extraction of chelev. Amar Rab Chia bar Abba Rab Yochanan. Chazru lay nemanan. Although initially we went with Rameir's shita that you can't trust the butcher. It's too strenuous of an undertaking. You're not going to initially, but later on, Chazru Leimar, the next version of things was that Ne'emanan, that you can trust the butchers. Amar of Nachman, what happened? Everybody became from Achshur Dari, generation, improved in their standards, meaning until now you can trust him, and now suddenly everybody's trustworthy. What happened? How did that switch come about? Says the Gemara, no. It's just a matter of the required scope and degree of difficulty. You see, initially, it was a hard job because we adopted Rameir's strict view in terms of how far-reaching is the giranasha. Remember, Rameir holds that it goes all the way in. It has fibers and microfibers, and that's a big job. You can't trust him. He's in a rush. He's not going to do it meticulously. But later on, we went with the Chacham. Let's see. Meikara, initially, Savri looked at Rameir. We had followed Rameir's opinion in terms of the scope of giranasha, which was pretty big scope, big job. We couldn't trust the butchers. Right? They weren't trusted for such a big job. But then they switched to Rabbi Yehuda's shita, who says you only have to shave off the top of the giranasha, so it's a relatively simple task. So for that, we can trust the butcher. Some had this discussion relating to the next part of the Mishnah. You can trust the butcher regarding removal of giranasha and also chelev. On that, that was in the good old days. But now, they turned around and said, no, you can't trust. On that, we have Amar of Nachman who followed on that and says, nowadays we do trust them. Ask the Gemara, Achshur Dari? So what happened? Suddenly, in the time of Nachman, everybody became, righteous. Why would you suddenly trust people? Akshodari says the Gemara, no. Look, I'll tell you what happened. Meikara Sabrok Rabbi Yehuda. Initially, the Shita followed Rabbi Yehuda. So when the Chachamim and the Mishnah say you can trust the butcher, it's because Mikara Sabrok Rabbi Yehuda. We want like Rabbi Yehuda that it's an easy job, it's a simple shave. So why not trust the butcher who says he did it? But then what happened? Hadar Sabrok Rabbi Meir. And then things switched. In the time of Rabbi Yechanan, they adopted Rabbi Meir's more strict view in terms of how far you have to dig to get the Gid Anasha. It's a bigger job. Now, theoretically, you would trust the butcher. Why not? I mean, this is what you have to do. He would do it. But the issue was that there were some old-timers that still chose to follow the old version of things, the easy shaving off system, a Rebuda system. So now you couldn't trust people because maybe this butcher is taking the easy route. Kama David the Rebuda. As long as there were some butchers who still recalled Rabbi Yehuda's shita and went along with that, the easy job, like Memnis, you couldn't trust them because perhaps he took the easy route. But later on, that sort of dissipated. And now everybody, all the butchers, adhere to the new, more strict standard of Gerasha removal. So now you can trust him. Because in theory, we trust him. As long as he knows what to do. Now that they abandoned Rabbi Yehuda's approach, meaning they adopted the most strict view, and everybody knows, everybody does, Memnis, you can trust him. So this is all regarding the Geranash. And likewise, you can trust him regarding Chelev removal. Chelev on the Char Shemei. Why the Chachamim countering with Chelev, meaning Rameh just mentioned the Geranash. It's our job, we can't trust him. Who says Rameh would have any opinion, any position regarding Chelev? Chelev on the Char Shemei. Amar. Actually, the mission is meant to be learned like this. Rameir referred to Chelev as well. Ein emanon alav, they're not trusted regarding Gid removal, but regarding Chelev removal as well. Come the Chacham and say, yep. The Chacham Ayrim, ne'emanon alav, we trust them on the Gid and on the Chelev as well. Okay, so in summation, we discussed the various locations in the animal where we have Chelev issues, we have Dam issues, we discussed Chutim and Chelev, Chutim and Dam, various membranes, extraction of blood in difficult to extract situations, and we discussed the parameters of Ne'emanos, trustworthiness of the butchers regarding Gid and Chelev removal. All the best to you and Atzlach.